Hi everybody and welcome to the Ultimate Club Guide video here on the BK Golf Clash YouTube channel. We are going to look at all the clubs available in the game of Golf Clash. It is going to be a long video, but there's plenty of tips here and there are timestamps for all the various sections in the video description down below. So if you want to just look at one set of clubs, then you can do so by clicking on the relevant timestamp. Before we get started, please hit thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel, particularly if you are new here. It is totally free to do so. And hit the bell button, get notified when we upload new videos. As well as this club guide, we have loads of Academy tutorial videos which are short form content designed to help you get better at Golf Clash regardless of whether you're playing Tour Play, Checkpoint Challenge, tournaments or Road to Fame. Now, this video is going to look at each of the main clubs in Golf Clash first and foremost, starting with the drivers, then the wood clubs and so on. So those are all the clubs that you will use and upgrade throughout your time in the game for Tour Play, friendlies, Checkpoint Challenge and of course tournaments. As well as that, in this video towards the end there is going to be a section devoted to Road to Fame, and that is looking at the fixed clubs that you have to use in that game mode called the series clubs. Now we're going to look at all the attribute levels of what you get in the main clubs in the game, and then in Road to Fame giving you my tips on what you should prioritize and upgrade if you are playing with the series clubs. Now, regardless of what game mode you're playing, I've got tips for all the club levels and all the club types, depending whether you're lower level Tour Play or playing up in Expert and Master tournaments. So there should be something in this video for every single one of you. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and if you've got any additional tips or favourites in terms of clubs that you enjoy playing with in the game the most. Leave me a comment and let me know down below. Here we go. What's going to happen in these videos is we're going to look at each driver in turn. There's going to be a table on screen with all of the stats and the attributes of each club at each level, with the upgrades highlighted, and I'm going to give you my tips along the way. Of course, it's not going to be an exhaustive every case scenario covered here. You're going to have to decide what's right for you along the way, and of course it's all dependent what bankroll you have available and what stage of the game you are in. But there's plenty of tips here to help you make some informed decisions about what clubs you may want to use and when they're going to be used in your journey through Golf Clash. There will be timestamps in the video description down below, so if you want to jump ahead to a certain club, you can do so. Let's get started. We begin with the Rocket. That is the Tour 1 driver. This is most likely going to be one of the first clubs that you ever unlock in the game, and also one of the first clubs that you fully max out to level 10. Now, it's very usable early on. You get decent accuracy even in level 1, so as soon as you get that switch out from your beginner driver, you are going to need the extra mile as well when you need more distance, of course, as you don't have distance with the Rocket, but you do have the accuracy as well. Now, when you've got the quarterback to a decent level, you won't really need the Rocket, but you will still need the Rocket later on in your game journey, particularly in higher divisions of tournament play. Pro, Expert and Master, you will all use the Rocket in level 10. Look at the amount of backspin, 98% backspin, 90% accuracy, and a good ball guide as well. So it's one of those clubs that will be with you throughout your journey in the game. The Tour 2 driver is the Extra Mile, and this is an important club. You will be using this one a lot. The problem with the Extra Mile is the accuracy is not great. Even in kind of level 6, you've still only got 30% accuracy, but it has distance, which of course the Rocket doesn't have that. You will unlock it fairly early on. A good tip with the Extra Mile to get that level up is to only play Tour 2. So rather than rush through the tours, if you want to upgrade the Extra Mile, and it will help especially when you get to Extra Mile 6 and above, play as many Tour 2 games as you can, because that is the best tour to win on with the best chance of getting Extra Mile cards. Extra Mile 6 plus, very, very good, and you can even play in pro tournaments with an Extra Mile 5. Actually, you've still got a good amount of topspin. The accuracy is a good jump up when you get to Extra Mile 7 and higher up in the game as well. Extra Mile 9 is actually a good alternative if you haven't got the APOC to a decent level in terms of topspin. You get a load of topspin with the Extra Mile 9, and it's only a few yards less than APOC 5 and above. So you will be getting plenty of use out of the extra mile at least until you've got the Thor's Hammer and the APOC to a decent upgraded level. Proceed with caution with the Big Topper. It is, of course, an epic club. It's found in Tour 3 and above. Look at all that topspin, even from level 1. As soon as you unlock the Big Topper, you've got max topspin available. However, the issue is not only is the accuracy pretty bad, the power isn't great either. So in early levels, especially 1, 2 and 3, you're probably going to need to overpower it. And even if you hit a minor great ball with the Big Topper, that is going to be costly when you only have 10 or 25% accuracy. But when you've got level 4 and 5 and definitely 6 and 7, it's going to be very useful in tournaments to get some distance. However, like I said, the accuracy still isn't going to be great. So you do want to be hitting perfect with this one. Okay, level 7 and 8 is very good stats. You've got good ball guide here, you've got more distance and accuracy, but by the time you've got to level 7 and 8 with the Big Topper, chances are you've got a decent Thor's Hammer or a high level extra mile or a decent Apocalypse, so you're probably not going to be using this one beyond level 6. The quarterback is a really useful driver, and it's a common one as well, so you are going to get through the levels fairly quickly. Found in Tour 4 and above, you can see even at level 1 you've got 73% accuracy. The power increases fairly regularly as well. You've got upgrades to the power at level 3, 5, 7 and 9. The other good thing about this is you've got ball guide in abundance from level 6 and above, and plenty of curl, especially when you get to level 7 and above. You are going to use the quarterback on par 3s up in Expert and Master, and indeed Pro. You've got great amount of ball guide, and it will be used in a lot of scenarios where you're finding your position with the quarterback and then maybe switching to a higher power driver to deal with headwind. So I would upgrade the quarterback as soon as you can, really, and that is going to be something that you want to keep upgrading as you go through the game. The other good thing, when you get to level 9 and 10, you've got a great amount of backspin as well as topspin, so it's brilliant for controlled drives on par 4s and par 5s where you need to reach a specific point, and will be extremely useful in par 3s as well. Quick break here to let you all know that you can get PDF printable versions of the charts with all of the drivers on one page, and that's going to be same for the wood clubs and the short irons and so on for every club in the game over on patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Really useful charts that you can print out and look at all the stats and attributes. May be worthwhile you having if you're playing tournaments or tour play, to help you quickly work out what you need to upgrade or what you need to use. So all of those printable charts available on Patreon. Get yourself involved there and support the channel at the same time. I like to think of the Rock as a even better quarterback, to be honest, but the downside here is it's going to be a more expensive club to upgrade. So I would rather people upgrade the quarterback first, and then only when they're really getting down into expert division tournaments, maybe a bit of pro as well. And if you've got sufficient bankroll, of course, then you're going to want to upgrade the Rock later on in the game. The reason is you've got great ball guide here. You've got 4.4 ball guide from level 4 plus, but in terms of tournaments, I kind of recommend level 7 is a brilliant level to be using the Rock in the tournament. You can use a Rock level 6, but you're lacking a bit of top spin. Like I said, though, for all other instances, lower down in the game progression, the quarterback will do pretty much what you need. You've got good ball guide, you've got good accuracy. And like I said, it's a little bit more expensive, but once you've got it to level 7 plus, going to be very, very useful indeed. I really enjoyed playing the Thor's Hammer, especially when I was going up through tour play with my first couple of accounts. The good thing about it, it's got a load of topspin, and it's also a little bit more accurate than the extra mile. So even at level 3, you've got 56% topspin, 64% accuracy. Okay, the power isn't that good. So as long as you don't need distance, this would be a viable option rather than a lower accuracy club such as the extra mile, providing, of course, you don't need the distance. It is really useful at level 5. You've got a few more yards. You've got a load of topspin there, 67% topspin, and you've got good ball guide here as well, and that only increases the more you upgrade it. Level 6 is a very good general tour play, especially if you're up in Tour 8, 9 and even Tour 10. If you don't need that much curl, the Thor's Hammer is going to be for you. So I would enjoy every upgrade you can here, and into the highest levels you've got even more ball guide, you've got more accuracy, and you've got almost full top spin, and on level 8 you've got full backspin as well. So at that point it is going to replace your big topper when you've hit Thor's Hammer 7 or 8. But that is a brilliant club if you need top spin and are not too bothered about curl or power early on. And we finish with the Apocalypse, the Tour 7 driver. It is the club everybody wants to unlock and the club that everybody wants to upgrade. However, these APOC cards can be as rare as hen's teeth. If you want the Apocalypse to show up in the shop, then you will need to have 3,901 trophies. But that doesn't mean that you can't get it elsewhere. Like I say, it will be found in Tour 7 chests, and it will be found in some golden shot reward chests as well. And of course there's checkpoint challenge. So if you don't have that trophy count, all is not lost, but don't expect these cards to come up very often. Of course, you can also win them in certain tournament chests, providing you're playing a high enough division. The best upgrade here is, of course, from level 4 to 5. I wouldn't really use the Apocalypse until you've got it to level 4. If you've got APOC 3, it is worth a go, but you are going to struggle in certain scenarios. But APOC 3 is where you have that great amount of curl. 92% curl. So if you do need to play a daring curl shot from the tee, APOC 3 is going to be your friend. But the main upgrade, like I say, from APOC 4 to 5, those extra 6 yards make a huge amount of difference. And of course, APOC 5 is that first time that you will have the most powerful driver in the game in terms of power. There is no other club with 240 yards of power. From level 5 onwards, every upgrade is brilliant, to be honest. You get more top spin for APOC 6, you get more accuracy at APOC 7, along with more ball guide, and even more accuracy, top spin, backspin, and curl, and ball guide, APOC level 8. But it will take you a while to get there. So my advice with the APOC, keep those cards coming in, and then when you've got it to APOC 4, switch over, because it will outperform the Extra Mile 7. We're going to look at each wood club in turn, and I'm going to have the stat charts up on the screen highlighting some of the best areas involved with shot making with these clubs and what level and when you might like to use them as you progress in the game of Golf Clash. We're also going to compare some stats and look at the advantages and disadvantages as we go in terms of what shots you might need to be playing with these clubs. Hope you find it useful. Please leave me a comment in the section down below with your preferences as well. Let's get started. The Tour 1 wood club is, of course, the Horizon, but even from level 1 and 2, of course, you've got 0 accuracy and not much accuracy really until you hit level 7, by which time you're not really going to need this club. But if it's the only wood club you've got, proceed with caution, because, of course, that accuracy is really low and you've got hardly any backspin. This is, however, a situational club for use in tournaments where you may not have the stat combination you need to play some more aggressive shots that need a lot of topspin and also ball guide. And as you can see, even at level 4, you've got 4.1 ball guide and plenty of topspin even from the beginning when you've got this in level 1. Level 5 and 6, you've got 31% accuracy, so still proceed with caution there. Like I said, this isn't going to be used in everyday tour play, unless, of course, you've got nothing else available. But keep it there, ready. It's not expensive to upgrade and may help you out in certain tournament scenarios until you've got other clubs at a decent level. The Viper is most likely going to be your all-round wood club for your first period of time in the game until you've got the Sniper to a decent level. It will be unlocked fairly quickly in Tour 2 and you will get plenty of cards if you play a lot of Tour 2 here. So you can very quickly get some top spin here at level 6. You've got a bit of backspin to begin with as well. The ball guide isn't great, however it is better than the big dog in low level, and of course the accuracy is better than the Horizon in low level. You've got enough power to get you through the shootouts and indeed most of the main holes in your early journey into the game. But of course, Once you've got into level 7, it doesn't get any more powerful than that. You've maxed it at 170 yards, and you need to be, when you're at that point, hopefully getting some sniper cards to eventually swap out from the Viper over to the Sniper. Found in Tour 3 onwards, the Big Dog. We're going to come back to the Big Dog a bit later to compare with the Cataclysm, and that's a very useful thing to do. But if the Viper isn't cutting it for you on the longer par 5s, then the Big Dog, having a bag with the Big Dog in, will be your friend, because instantly at level 1, you've got 170 yards of power, which is way more than a maxed out Viper. Okay, the accuracy isn't good to begin with, and not until level 7 do you get something half decent. So it is one that you need to focus on hitting perfect. The best thing about the early upgrades here is the ball guide. You haven't even got a second bounce until you are at level 4. So try and avoid using the Big Dog unless you absolutely have to until you are level 4+. But it will be very, very useful in tournaments, in Rookie, and of course in Pro. We'll talk more about the Cataclysm later because there are a lot of similarities there, and knowing which club you need in which circumstance will be very important. But this is one to keep developing as you go through the tours. Now, the Hammerhead, in my experience, is the best underused club in the game. Not many people use it. That's because even though it does many things very well, you've got decent power up to 176 yards, you've got very good accuracy really from level 4 on, you've got decent topspin, you've got decent backspin as well, and the ball guide's okay. However, you've got specialist clubs for all of those attributes really. You've got the Big Dog and the Cataclysm for the distance, you've got the accuracy and the ball guide, you've got the Sniper for that, and you've got max backspin on the Guardian in much earlier level. So the Hammerhead is a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. I wouldn't recommend it in tour play purely because a lot of the content you'll see online and also on the community will not use the Hammerhead at all. Many people, they just go with the Sniper, Big Dog, Guardian or Cataclysm. However, I'm not going to rule this out for general tour play, and if that suits what you're playing in tour play in terms of the courses and the tees you're playing from, and you don't have any other clubs that give you that all-round sense, then by all means stick with it because it has a very good set of attributes. The Guardian is your go-to club for anything that requires backspin. If there may not be much room to bounce before the green and you just want to get safely on and control the ball, then this is the club for you. Even level 1, you've got a load of backspin to deal with there, and it just gets better as you go up. Level 6 onwards, you've got full backspin. Not a great amount of ball guide really, but it is useful. Definitely in level 7+, and maybe in level 6 as well, because you've got a very good second bounce to reference with a ball guide of 3.2, and you've got the accuracy there as well. Topspin is not really used at all with the Guardian, to be quite honest, unless you're using it in level 9 and want the ball guide and the distance, but mainly the backspin is going to be your friend on this one. Decent power as well. You're not going to be wanting for too much more power than this, even if you're using it in level 4 and 5. Quick break here to let you all know that you can get PDF printable versions of the charts with all of the drivers on one page, and that's going to be same for the wood clubs and the short irons and so on for every club in the game over on patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Really useful charts that you can print out and look at all the stats and attributes. May be worthwhile you having if you're playing tournaments or tour play, to help you quickly work out what you need to upgrade or what you need to use. So all of those printable charts available on Patreon. Get yourself involved there and support the channel at the same time. By far the best wood club in the game, the Sniper, for the wonderful accuracy and also the ball guide. Just look at these stats from level 1. Okay, you've got no topspin and no backspin, but you've got 3.7 ball guide already, and it is the only club that gives you 100% accuracy as soon as you unlock it. The power will be against you though for those first few levels. You get 4 more yards at level 5, and you're also by that point into a 4.0 ball guide. Level 7+ is where it is a really brilliant weapon in tournaments. You've got 4.5 ball guide, you've got a little bit more topspin, and your backspin and topspin increases from 7 right the way up to 10. Really, this is going to be a brilliant club whether you're playing tournaments and or tour play, because this is a great thing for shootouts as well. You've got all that lovely ball guide. Great balls are going to be safe here as well, and it is a very, very well used club, so you can make use of a lot of great content using the Sniper. This should be priority upgrade material with all of your wood clubs. The Tour 7 wood club is the Cataclysm. This will be your go-to club much later on in your Golf Clash career when you're up in Master and indeed Tour 11 and 12 and 13. This will be the club for the shootouts. It may not strike you as that to begin with because you've got low accuracy, but you've also got a great amount of power early on, 175 yards. Coming up in this video, we're going to look at comparing the Big Dog and the Cataclysm, because you might want to mix and match these clubs. But look at this, from level 5 onwards, you've got some brilliant topspin and you've got 60% accuracy at least. A load of curl as well, and in the highest levels, 4.3. This will be great for master tournaments and, like I said, high up in tour play as well, but also a great option for pro and expert, depending on what stats you need on your long distance approaches. Now let's have a look at these two long distance wood clubs side by side, and this is the useful comparison here. Most of the time when you're going to be reaching out for the long distance wood club, you're wanting 180 yards of power, so priority really is given to that, because otherwise you may need to overpower or push up. As you can see, at level 6 the Big Dog has 180 power. You have that already at level 3 with the Cataclysm. However, because the upgrade cards are slightly harder to come by, there being an epic club and also up in Tour 7, the chances are your Big Dog will be used a little bit earlier on in the game. However, there may be some scenarios you need to compare other stats as well. Of course, the accuracy isn't great on either club really, so we're going to be focusing on hitting perfect with this one. But sometimes you may need distance and topspin, and that's where you need to look closely at the stats. Big Dog level 6 with 180 yards power, you've got 67% topspin, so it's going to be around 6 bars of topspin. Looking at the equivalent of the Cataclysm there, you've got that almost at level 4, but if you need more topspin, the Cataclysm 5, if you've got it, has going to have a little bit more topspin. 71%, okay, may not be a great amount, but look at the other differences. 3.6 ball guide and a lot more accuracy. So when you're looking at the topspin needed, if you've got the Cataclysm in level 5, then that is going to really outperform the Big Dog in level 6 plus. So that's what you need to have in mind when you're upgrading these. Okay, you've got the power earlier on, but you don't necessarily have better topspin than the Big Dog. So Big Dog to around level 6, but then keep an eye on that Cataclysm. As soon as you're hitting level 4, level 5, that's the time, in my opinion, you need to be making the switch. We're going to have the charts on screen, each club in turn looking at the top spin and the back spin and all the different attributes and good points and bad points that these long irons have to offer according to where you are in the game and, of course, what level you're at with those clubs. We'll be giving you some tips on what to upgrade and when. So let's get started by looking at all of the long irons in the game. We begin with the Grim Reaper. That is the Tour 1 long iron. It looks and sounds very dramatic, however it's not that useful unless you haven't unlocked the Backbone or the Goliath, which are going to be your go-to long irons and your early stages of the game. So you've got 40% backspin already at level 1, so it's definitely not useless there. And you've got a half decent ball guide. However, you will see soon in this video that the Backbone will outperform it and the Goliath will be useful in scenarios as well. So I would upgrade this only if you haven't got the Backbone and the Goliath, but once you've got those clubs, then stop upgrading this until you have loads of bankroll and you want to max out, because you're not going to be using this in anything above a level 3. Speaking of the Backbone, here it is. It's the Tour 2 long iron, and this is going to be your all-purpose long iron, definitely for your first 4 or 5 tours, and pretty much all of your rookie tournaments, maybe low-level pro as well. You've got topspin and backspin, albeit a small amount from the beginning. However, this is a common club and it's in Tour 2, so if you play loads of Tour 2 games, there's a very good chance of getting loads of upgrades to this club. It's very, very useful. Good all-purpose. You've got plenty of accuracy, really, when you get, especially up to level 5 onwards. Very good accuracy, decent amount of spin. You've got a bit of curl as well, and the ball guide increases as you get on. So this will be your general purpose long iron. So upgrade this one when you can. Second to the backbone will be the Goliath. Slightly harder to upgrade this one, but definitely not impossible. This one is more of a situational club. You've got a load of distance. Already when you unlock this club, you've got 130 yards of power. You have loads of topspin, even in level 1. You've got a bit of backspin as well, and you've got some ball guide. This will be useful though if you want distance. If you are playing long par 5s and don't want to be in between clubs where you're at max distance maybe with the backbone and you've got ages on the course before it flicks over to the wood club, then this might bridge the gap. So it's kind of situational. If you're playing some rough bumps in tournaments, the topspin will come in very handy. So I would continue to upgrade this club. You are going to be using it throughout pro and also in expert, definitely until you've got your B52 to a high level, and those are fairly hard to come by as well, being an epic club. So continue to upgrade this one when your bankroll allows, because it is going to be a very useful situational club if you want distance and topspin. Now we come on to the Saturn, which is not a useless club by any stretch of the imagination, but it does get a little bit more specialist, and you will see shots being made with the Saturn, definitely in pro tournaments where you need a load of backspin and may not have any fully developed higher clubs. Plenty of backspin here. It can be used as a general purpose one as well. However, because the backbone is unlocked and developed in the lower tours, at Tour 2, rather than this one, which is of course a Tour 4 club, you will see people using the backbone a lot more. However, like I said, even in level 1 and 2, you've got a bit of topspin, you've got a bit of backspin as well. Should you avoid upgrading it? No, you should continue to upgrade it, but I would put priority into the backbone and the Goliath first. Now we come on to a brilliant long iron, widely regarded as one of the best long irons in the game. Definitely up in master tournaments, you will need this one. Of course, it does take you a while to get to level 8, being an epic club, and it may not be something you really want to use as soon as you unlock it. However, level 5 upwards is definitely useful. Maybe also level 4 as well. It really comes into its own though with level 6 onwards. You've got the ball guide, but you've got a load more topspin as well. 55% topspin at level 6, a load of ball guide in level 7 and 8, and a lot of accuracy as well. Do you want to use this one over the Grizzly in high-level tours? That is personal preference. It depends on your club level for both. However, due to the accuracy here and the distance, you are going to have to adjust a lot of rings with the B52. So it all depends what suits you. But definitely, if you're playing up in master tournaments, then this club will be a must. Quick break here to let you all know that you can get PDF printable versions of the charts with all of the drivers on one page, and that's going to be same for the wood clubs and the short irons and so on for every club in the game over on patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Really useful charts that you can print out and look at all the stats and attributes. May be worthwhile you having if you're playing tournaments or tour play, to help you quickly work out what you need to upgrade or what you need to use. So all of those printable charts available on Patreon. Get yourself involved there and support the channel at the same time. Another excellent club here, and much more widely used than the B52, and not really a lot in it. You've got good accuracy here in the higher levels, even actually from level 1. You have very good ball guide from level 5 upwards, but you don't have the distance, unfortunately. You will see this recommended a lot in tournament play in pro upwards. Level 6, you should be okay to use this generally in pro and above. Level 9, you get 3 more yards on it, which does help bridge the gap. But if you need to play long distance shots with accuracy and ball guide, especially with some topspin, the B52 is probably going to have the edge if you've got it in a high enough level. But still, I would upgrade this one when you can, because once you've got into the higher tours and you're moving up through pro and into expert tournaments, this is going to outperform the backbone in a lot of areas. You've got good accuracy, you get more spin as you upgrade, and you have a lot of very good ball guide as well. So this Grizzly here, you're going to see it a lot in pro and expert and a lot in tour 6 or 7 and above. Very, very good club indeed. Finally, onto the Tour 7 long iron, the Tsunami. You might think it's the best long iron in the game. It isn't. It is outperformed and outused by the B52 and also the Grizzly, to be honest. And that's a shame, because look at the stats up in level 6, really. 100% topspin, 100% backspin, a load of curl, and a decent amount of ball guide. Maybe not the best, though, and that's where it lets itself down, really. The accuracy isn't too bad, to be honest, but I've rarely used the Tsunami. I recommended it once on a par 5 of Namhe Cliffs in a tournament for a special ball shot. It was very good there, but it really is a very niche club, and you're not going to be using this as your general go-to club. So this should be low down on the upgrade list. Save your money for some other clubs. However, of course, if you're wanting to max out, you may have the odd use for it, but you won't see it out on the course very often. We're going to start by looking at 2 to begin with. The Apache unlocked Tour 1. That is, of course, a rare one. And the Kingfisher is an epic one that is unlocked at Tour 2. Obviously, the Kingfisher is slightly harder to unlock as it's in a later tour and is also an epic rather than a rare. Now, if you've got the Apache and all you've got is the Apache, you're going to go with that over the beginner short iron. However, the accuracy is bad. You've got no accuracy at level 1, very limited accuracy at level 2, and you also have no backspin, so it's very difficult to control the ball. The ball guide is also not very good at all. When you unlock the Kingfisher, I would switch to that over the Apache instantly. Even at level 1, look, you've got 65% accuracy. Okay, 5 yards less power, however, that's not really going to make too much difference in your early days in the game. You have some topspin, but you have a good amount of backspin there. 50% backspin, and you've got a much better ball guide. Okay, it's only 2.3, but that's way better than 1.5. You can look at that second bounce, and you can control the ball much easier. We're going to discard curl completely, as you're not really going to be needing curl on any short iron shots unless you are in a very, very strange point on the fairway. You're really not going to worry about curl. So if you've got the Kingfisher available over the Apache, then have the Kingfisher there and keep going with the upgrades on either of these that you are using until, of course, you've got the Runner or the Thorn, and we're going to look at those clubs next. Here's the Runner unlocked at Tour 3. This is a common one, so you're going to get through the levels fairly easily here. The problem is, though, the backspin in the first 5 levels, not very good. Even though you've got loads of topspin, this is a situational short iron and will be good for rough bumps. When you haven't got the Hornet at a very high level, or indeed where you need a load of topspin, which may not be offered by the Hornet, even in a very high level. So this one is going to be a friend for rough bumps. The ball guide increases dramatically as you get up to the higher levels here. You haven't got much to begin with here. If this is the only one you have available and you haven't unlocked the Apache or the Kingfisher, of course, you're going to switch to this one because it's going to be better than beginner's short iron. However, this one is going to be something that you want to keep upgrading. However, the priority is going to be the next club that we're going to look at. Brilliant short iron. Let's have a look at the Thorn right now. This is going to be your all-purpose short iron and is an absolute beast of a club. You are going to use this to drop a load of eagles and nail some excellent shots at a short range, but maybe just out of the distance of your wedge. The Thorn is going to be your friend. You've got great amount of backspin to begin with, so you can control the ball really nicely from an early level. Even at level 1, look, 75% backspin. The ball guide gets pretty good from level 7 onwards, in fact really good in level 8 and 9, but it is still usable in level 3 plus as well. Of course, you've got to weigh up what level you've got in conjunction with the Kingfisher and the Runner and the Apache, but where possible I really would favour the Thorn because this is a club you're going to use a lot, and I would recommend you get used to this club and working out how the shots work and the adjustments you need to make as soon as possible. You can play rough bumps with this one in a higher level. You've got 50% top spin at level 8. You have decent accuracy as well, so you're not pulling a huge amount of rings in high level, but the best thing is the backspin. Like I said, you've got loads of it at level 1, and once you're at level 5 onwards, and particularly with the ball guide, level 7, 8 and 9, you can play those max backspin shots, bouncing beyond the pin, rolling back into the cup, and you can play dunks as well. We've got tutorials on how to play dunks with the Thorn. A brilliant club. You're going to use it a lot, upgrade it and get used to it as soon as you can. Quick break here to let you all know that you can get PDF printable versions of the charts with all of the drivers on one page, and that's going to be same for the wood clubs and the short irons and so on for every club in the game over on patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Really useful charts that you can print out and look at all the stats and attributes. May be worthwhile you having if you're playing tournaments or tour play to help you quickly work out what you need to upgrade or what you need to use. So all of those printable charts available on Patreon. Get yourself involved there and support the channel at the same time. Not everybody likes the Thorn though. Some will prefer the Hornet, and let's have a look at the Hornet now. Loads of accuracy, and that does appeal to players. You've got brilliant accuracy from level 1, gets up to 100% accuracy at level 9. The thing that the Hornet generally has over the Thorn is topspin, and in certain scenarios you will want to use the Hornet rather than the Thorn if you want something with more accuracy, better ball guide, and of course a decent amount of power if the runner isn't cutting it. Do you want to use this as your all-purpose tour play short iron? That is entirely up to you. The backspin is not as good, so in terms of controlling the ball in more scenarios, then the Thorn really does it for me. However, some players love the Hornet, they like the accuracy. When you're playing with high wind conditions though, the problem with the accuracy is, of course, you've got to have to adjust more rings. And whereas with the Thorn, you can pretty much keep this under a 10 ring adjustment, so you're only having to make one pull here. With the Hornet, sometimes you're going to have to make 2 pulls, and of course then you lose accuracy yourself in the adjustment process. Though this is going to be a personal thing. Most players, however, they do tend to prefer the Thorn, and that will be my choice as well. But don't rule out the Hornet. You are going to need it on certain holes where you need topspin to play a rough bump. Now we're going to look at the Claw. This is a strange one, really. It's unlocked at Tour 6. It is a common one, so you are going to level this one up fairly quickly if, of course, you're playing Tour 6 and above. Does it have really a specific use? Sadly not. It has a load of curl, but like we've already identified in this video, that is going to be pretty much next to useless, unfortunately. With the Claw, this is all going to be depending on where your other clubs are and where you've spent your bankroll as you've been progressing up the tours. And I would advise you always to just look at what you're doing in the game, check the level of the Apache, the Kingfisher, and also the Runner maybe. Is it going to outperform the Thorn or the Hornet? No, it never is really. But you just got to look at what you want out of this club. There is no topspin, unfortunately, until you get to level 4. The accuracy isn't great, but even at level 1, you have got a decent amount of backspin, even though the ball guide isn't great. So if this is the only short iron, or rather, if you've not been very lucky with unlocking the earlier short irons, you may need to use this one a bit more. It's going to all depend on personal circumstance. Obviously, every person's journey through the game is different, and you may unlock different clubs at different stages to other people. So you've just got to compare this to the rest of the clubs in the bag. Unfortunately, no specific use case for this one, but of course it is a common one, not difficult to upgrade. Does it shine in any particular area? Unfortunately not. And now we come on to the Tour 7 short iron. Brilliant club. This is the Falcon here. Now you're not really going to use this until fairly late on in your Golf Clash journey. Definitely not going to see this in rookie or pro tournaments, and probably not suggested in expert content, because the go-to short irons are going to be the Thorn and the Hornet. However, in master tournaments and definitely in higher tour play, if you've got this level 7 plus for that wonderful ball guide, then this is the club to use. You haven't got max backspin though, even at level 8, so it doesn't outdo the Thorn in that regard. So if there are scenarios where you want to go for the dunk or the max backspin shot, then Thorn is still going to win. However, the ball guide is very good, the power is very good, and it is also very accurate. Are you going to use it at level 1? I'd probably say no, stick with the thorn and wait until you've got this at a very, very decent level. It is going to take time, of course, being one of the epic clubs, but when you've got it up in level 7 and 8, brilliant up in master tournament level. I'm going to be talking you through each club in turn. We're going to have the club level stat tables on the screen, so we can really delve into details of what to upgrade and when you might want to be using these clubs according to where you are in the game, and indeed what your play style may be. And with wedges, there's a few different ways you can play them, so we're going to go through that as well. But a very, very important part of your game, whether you're playing aggressively to green and need to secure a nice chip in for an eagle on a par 4, or even if you're securing an eagle on a very tough par 5 when you can't quite reach the green in 2, you've got to get the right wedge in your bag and of course know how to use it. Here come all of the details right now. The Tour 1 wedge is the dart, and that is going to be one of the first clubs you unlock in the game. If not the first, it's either usually the dart or the rocket, which is of course a driver. But this is going to be your companion for a good part of the beginning of your Golf Clash journey, and we'll look at the Tour 2 and Tour 3 wedge next. But really the dart has it all. You're going to upgrade it very quickly because it is common. The one you're going to switch to after the dart is going to be the skewer. We're going to have a look at that as well. But straight off the bat, even though you've got no topspin or backspin, you get some ball guide fairly quickly when you're up into level 4 and 5. And this is a very useful beginner wedge. Of course, you have to learn how to adjust with it, or kind of at this stage in the game, you're probably going to be adjusting by feel. And you get used to that as you progress and get more ball guide. But it's a brilliant wedge. That is going to be the first one that you will be using near to the green in Golf Clash. If you're looking for ball guide and topspin early on in the game, if you've kind of gone through the process once and you know you like to play wedges with max topspin and enjoy knowing exactly where that ball guide and indeed the ball is going to go, the Firefly is very good. This is a Tour 2 wedge. Unfortunately, the accuracy is not great, and if you do hit great with the Firefly, you're probably going to miss, even though you may have adjusted your shot well. So if you like the max topspin idea and haven't yet unlocked the Rapier, and we'll come on to that soon as well, then the Firefly is going to be a very good contender for you. Now we come to two wedges which really can be discounted straight away. Unfortunately, even though there's a great amount of backspin on the boomerang, even from level 1, you're simply not going to need it playing wedges. You either play no spin, you maybe play 1 or 2 bars of backspin, or you play with a load of topspin. Having a great amount of backspin is unfortunately useless, and even though the accuracy gets great as you upgrade, and so does the ball guide, unfortunately there are other wedges that do the job far better. So I would not bother upgrading anything until you're very far on in the game and you're needing to max out clubs. So boomerang, for now, early on and in the mid-part of your game, save your money. Talking of money savers, this is the absolute best club to save you money. Therefore, the worst club in the game, the down in 1. I'm sure a lot of people have played a couple of games with it. I did on my first ever account and promptly moved away. Okay, we have brilliant accuracy. Spin, we can take it or leave it. Power, of course, they're all about the same. But look at the ball guide, 1. And even when you've maxed it, 1.5, you will have absolutely zero indication of where this ball is going to end up apart from the first bounce. So if you're in a habit of dunking wedges or you need it for challenges, okay, use it. But until you want to max your clubs and trade them in for something better in terms of prism chests, save your money. Do not bother upgrading this club, the worst one in the game. Quick break here to let you all know that you can get PDF printable versions of the charts with all of the drivers on one page, and that's going to be same for the wood clubs and the short irons and so on for every club in the game over on patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Really useful charts that you can print out and look at all the stats and attributes. May be worthwhile you having if you're playing tournaments or tour play to help you quickly work out what you need to upgrade or what you need to use. So all of those printable charts available on Patreon. Get yourself involved there and support the channel at the same time. Now we're on to the skewer. Now this is the one, if you're going to trade in your dart for something, that you can upgrade easily. The skewer is for you, and you've got to really look at what level both clubs are in. It's going to be a case-by-case scenario. There is plenty of topspin here. There's more topspin in level 1 of the skewer than you will ever get with a maxed out dart. The accuracy is more or less comparable. Higher levels, of course, the skewer wins, and it also wins on ball guide. So you're going to have to keep it upgraded if you can afford to do so, of course, and then just periodically check against the dart which one is giving you that bit better ball guide. I would be tempted to go to the skewer when you're able to for a little bit more topspin, but also, all important, the ball guide is the one to look at when you are comparing these two clubs. The ultimate wedge in the game, in my opinion, and a lot of other opinions as well, you speak to a lot of people, they will either be the Endbringer or the Rapier, but most of the time it is the Endbringer, and I'm tempted to agree. The best wedge in the game, look at that, accuracy 70, straight out of the bag, ball guide 3.6, and it just gets better. The accuracy is brilliant. You get up to 95% accuracy at level 5, and even level 4, level 3, if you're adjusting well enough, you can get a single great ball still going in the hole if you're lucky there, and definitely 5 plus, providing you're not at a ridiculously long range wedge here, you're going to find that great balls will drop for you all the way. Brilliant ball guide. There is excellent topspin at level 7, but the best thing about the Endbringer is that you can easily use the Endbringer school, and that is a method to drop a load of different wedge shots, whether it's short range or long range. I've got a tutorial on that. It's called the Quickfire Endbringer method. It's on my Academy playlist, and we're going to put the link in the video description down below. If you've not learnt it, please do. It will change your Golf Clash game. Now, there's loads of tutorials on that one online, but the good thing about the one on my channel, you can learn the whole method in around 4 or 5 minutes. And once you've learnt it, and it's very easy to learn, it will be a game changer. So the Endbringer for me, that is the wedge that you need. Now, if you're not in Team Endbringer, you'll be supporting the opposition, which will be the fans of the Rapier. Now, this one really appeals to people that like to play the max topspin method. So they'll set further back, target nearer to the ball, less wind effect to deal with, of course. They'll apply max topspin and then don't have to adjust as many rings. Now, of course, the accuracy isn't as good, but the Rapier really relies on the ball guide if you're going to play max topspin. So for me, if you are interested in that, you've got to compare it with the Firefly, because you're going to want to go with ball guide. Of course, though, as with the Firefly, great balls may not go in, whereas they may well do a lot more of the time with the Endbringer. So you pays your money, you takes your choice. The Rapier, still a very, very good wedge, and there will be occasional scenarios where the Endbringer actually doesn't cut it, and you're probably better off going with the Rapier unless you have a very high Endbringer. So don't discount it by any means. Choose the club which suits your play style the best. Of course, a rough iron is not something that you want to be using every single time you go and play a hole, but it's something you need to be prepared with, and make sure you've got the right one packed in your bag or bags according to the hole that you're playing, and also, of course, where you are in the game. And we're going to look at the attribute and the stat charts in turn for each club, and as with the other episodes in the series, going to help identify which ones you might need to upgrade and when, and what stats are good to look out for, and where those situations are really key in order to help you decide what to pack in your bag. Here we go. First rough iron in the game, the Rough Cutter, unlocked in Tour 1. This is most likely going to be the first rough iron that you unlock, and this will be the one that you will use in the earliest parts of your game. You should upgrade and stick with the Rough Cutter until you unlock the Razor, which is in Tour 5. There are, of course, 3 more rough irons to look at in Tours 2, 3 and 4. However, I would advise you always to stick with the Rough Cutter to begin with. Okay, not a lot of ball guide, unfortunately, but really, for a rough iron at level 1, 70% accuracy, you can't go wrong with that, and the spin, of course, gets better. You're not really going to be using this past level 4 or 5 most likely, at which point you'll have unlocked the Razor or something better. But here is your first rough iron that you will be using in the game. Now, if you're playing Tour 2 and above, you can unlock the Junglist. Now, this is a viable option if you don't want the Rough Cutter. I'm going to highlight the advantages and disadvantages now. Let's look at the power. Level 1, you've got 97 yards. Now with the rough cutter, even level 1, you've only got 75 yards and actually don't beat the power of the Junglist until level 8. However, the disadvantage, look at the poor accuracy here. 20% only in level 1 and 2. And even 3, 4 and 5, you've only got 35%. And the chances are these cards are not going to come up as frequently as the rough cutter. So you're compromising accuracy really to have more power. If you know you're going to be playing some long par 5s where you might need to recover some extra yards from the rough to reach near to the green, this might be a situational club for you. However, more than likely, I'm going to be tempted to recommend the rough cutter. Okay, finally we can mention the curl, but are we really going to be stuck right behind the base of a tree trunk very much in our early days? Who knows? For me, though, my preference is the rough cutter. The machete is a common club, so you're going to upgrade this fairly quickly. In the early stages, though, in terms of the levels, not very useful at all. Very poor accuracy and only a few more yards than the rough cutter in the equivalent levels. Now, this is, though, going to be a very, very niche and situational club when you've got it to about kind of level 6, 7 and definitely above 7. If you're playing some of the holes where you might need a load of backspin to control the ball on the green from the rough, Porthello Cove has a par 4 which is an example, then this is the club for you, but you're not really going to use it for general purpose tour play. It's only going to be one of those rescue clubs on a very small number of holes in tournament play. The off-roader is the Tour 4 rough iron, again an epic one with the pink kind of colouring, the designation there. Very good club here, and some people in their very late stages in the game will switch to this over the Nirvana, and we're going to look at the Nirvana coming up as well, because they believe the perfect rate is a little bit better with the off-roader. However, it is only conjecture, no proof in that. You go with what you are most comfortable with. Very good power from the get-go here, really. Decent amount of spin if you need it. Pretty good ball guide as it goes as well. But chances are you're still going to want to stick with the rough cutter. If you've got a very fortunate account that has unlocked this early, though, you might want to use it in level 1 and 2, but then consider switching to either the Razor or the Nirvana. Quick break here to let you all know that you can get PDF printable versions of the charts with all of the drivers on one page, and that's going to be same for the wood clubs and the short irons and so on for every club in the game over on patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Really useful charts that you can print out and look at all the stats and attributes. May be worthwhile you having if you're playing tournaments or tour play to help you quickly work out what you need to upgrade or what you need to use. So all of those printable charts available on Patreon. Get yourself involved there and support the channel at the same time. The Razor can be found in Tour 5 and above, so you need to be playing at the level or higher to get these club cards in your reward chest. Now, excellent accuracy. Look at that. Level 1, straight out the bag, 100% accuracy. It doesn't get any better than that. The spin is a bit limited to start with. However, you've got a 3.1 ball guide at level 1 and 90 yards of power. Now, I would recommend you switch from the rough cutter to the Razor. Really, as soon as you unlock the Razor, level 1 is going to beat the rough cutter even at level 5. In terms of power, you've got 2 more yards and you've got 0.7 more of a ball guide there. So really for me, as soon as you've unlocked the Razor, it is usable. You've got great accuracy, decent power and good ball guide. So this one will be kind of your second go-to rough iron in the game. Here's another situational rough iron here. This is the Amazon in Tour 6. Now, this is great for power. So if you're playing a risky drive and you've got a very long second shot to the green and you may be worried and not going to make it if you've got the Razor or the rough cutter in with kind of 70 to 90, maybe 100 yards of power. Level 1 here, you've got 121 yards. But you have pretty rubbish ball guide, to be quite honest, even at level 7 and 8. 2.5 and 3, you're not really picking this one for the ball guide. You are picking it for power. Not only that, look at the top spin. 75% top spin already at level 1. The problem is, of course, you don't really know how far it's going to reach with a ball guide of 1 or 1.2. But it will get you down there, and it is worth including as a rescue club for those longer par 4s and 5s. Tour 7 rough iron, the Nirvana. This is really where it is for me in terms of a great all-round, all-purpose rough iron that you are going to be relying on in a lot of scenarios. Let's look at it at level 1. 112 yards of power, absolutely brilliant. And up at level 9, 135 yards as well. So you are going to get distance out of this one, absolutely. Okay, you don't have the top spin of the Amazon, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it is still a very useful club, and the ball guide even straight out of the box at level 1, 2.9, and it again increases every 2 levels on average. So you're going to have top spin, you can play max top spin near the green, get that ball guide to the hole when you've got it level 5 and above, even better when you've got it level 7 of course, but this for me will be, when you've got it unlocked, the one that you need to channel your club cards, your gems, your coins, anything that you may use to get hold of these club cards. This is the way to go here. Upgrade the Nirvana. Much later in the game, you can decide whether the Nirvana or the off-roader suits you best, but a lot of players really favour the Nirvana. We're going to look at the stats of each of the 7 sand wedges in the game and work out which are decent, which are worth upgrading and which may be worth saving to a later stage in your game. Let's get started and look at the wonderful sand wedges in the game of Golf Clash. We're going to start by looking at the 2 less wonderful sand wedges in the game, and this is the Castaway, the Tour 1 sand wedge, and the Desert Storm unlocked in Tour 2. Chances are you're going to unlock the Desert Storm first because it is a common club, so much more chance of finding those club cards than the Castaway. However, it's not a particularly good one. If that's the only sand wedge you've got in your early stages, then by all means you've got to stick with it. But the Castaway, you can see there, with a little bit more accuracy and a better ball guide, is going to outperform the Desert Storm, even, should we say, at around level 6 and 7. However, of course, these aren't the main 2 sand wedges. There's also some more that we're going to look at side by side next. We're now going to jump ahead a little bit to the Sahara, which is a Tour 4 sand wedge, and the Sand Lizard, which is at Tour 5. And again, the Sand Lizard is a common one, so you're going to encounter those a lot more than some of the others. The Sahara, yeah, decent amount of power, also not a bad ball guide. The accuracy isn't great though until you kind of hit level 6, 7 and definitely 8. But the Sand Lizard has very good accuracy, but not that amount of distance. So until you've got the Malibu unlocked, which is Tour 3, and we're going to look at that next compared with the Houdini at Tour 6, then you're going to have to pick the best of what you've got here. The Sand Lizard, however, isn't a bad all-round club. You've got a lot of accuracy, so if you are worried about timing, you know, hitting perfect out of the sand, that may be a bit of a saving grace for you. But there's not a lot of power, so if you find yourself in a fairway bunker, you may want to favour the power stats of the other clubs, unless, of course, you've got the Malibu or the Houdini, and we're going to look at those right now. Quick break here to let you all know that you can get PDF printable versions of the charts with all of the drivers on one page, and that's going to be the same for the wood clubs and the short irons and so on for every club in the game over on patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Really useful charts that you can print out and look at all the stats and attributes. May be worthwhile you having if you're playing tournaments or tour play, to help you quickly work out what you need to upgrade or what you need to use. So all of those printable charts available on Patreon. Get yourself involved there and support the channel at the same time. Here are the Malibu compared with the Houdini. Both of these are rare clubs, so not difficult to find, but maybe not the easiest. But they are really good, and we're going to look at them side by side because these are ones you're going to have to keep an eye on, and I would prioritise these to upgrade as soon as you can, and of course providing you have the bankroll for them. Let's look at the ball guide on each of them. 2.9 to begin with on the Malibu, 2.7 for the Houdini, and with both clubs they upgrade very nicely as you get through the levels. So by the time you get to level 5 or 6, you know, you're approaching the high 3s or into the 4s with your ball guide. Power is fairly comparable here, you know, 4 yards difference at the beginning of the levels and only 3 yards at the end, so a nice mid-range sand wedge there. You've got a little bit of topspin to begin with at level 2. You haven't got anything at level 1, but hopefully you can scoot through level 1 quickly. The backspin's good on the Houdini, but not really a thing you're going to use on the sand wedge. But let's have a look at the accuracy. Now, the Malibu really shines early on. 60% accuracy from level 1, and then level 2 and 3 you've got to 81. And obviously with the Houdini you haven't got that accuracy until you're at level 8. So for me, and as well, the Malibu is unlocked at Tour 3, where the Houdini is Tour 6. The Malibu is going to be your sand wedge of choice as soon as you get that one unlocked. I will go with that and upgrade it at all costs. And then when you've got the bankroll, keep the Houdini going. And you might want to switch when you get to around level 7 or 8 with the Houdini. You've got more ball guide there, 4.4. Okay, you're going to lose a little bit of yardage and also a bit of accuracy as well. But if you like ball guide, then there's some serious stuff to consider here. Level 9 on each club is a very, very close call indeed. And you will still see players kind of debating which one's the best. Only 3 yards difference in power, very good accuracy. Better topspin on the Houdini, so that will shine if you like playing the max topspin method. However, these are not the best sand wedges in the game. There is one more to go. That is the Spitfire. Let's look at it right now. Here it is then, the Spitfire. It is a Tour 7 club, and it is, of course, also an epic. So this is not going to be one that you're going to be upgrading quickly. However, straight out of the box, as it were, level 1, 120 yards of power, and you never get a power upgrade. Not really that you need one, to be honest, because look at the top spin. 70% of top spin at level 1. So you're going to get some distance there. Okay, the ball guide isn't really that great until really for dropping shots or saving yourself out of the sand near the green. 7 and 8 is the best level because you've got that 4.4 ball guide. But then again, 5 and 6 is not going to be bad at all. The good thing about the Spitfire is it's a good situational club to have on longer par 4s and 5s where you might be playing a risky drive and end up in the sand. Now that extra power, 120 yards, 10 or 12 more yards than the Houdini or the Malibu maxed out, plus the top spin, is going to get you nicely to the green, even if you're quite far away. So this is a very good rescue club to have. Let's ignore the backspin. Let's ignore the curl. When you're at level 7, though, for me, that is time to switch to the Spitfire. 100% accuracy, full top spin, and a load of ball guide. Brilliant club here, and it will be useful later on in your Golf Clash career. This next section of the club guide video is going to look purely at Road to Fame and the series clubs that are contained within that game mode, because you have to use those clubs. So we're going to take a look at those now at the levels that they start in, and I'm going to give you my tips on the priorities that you should be looking at when you are upgrading the different series clubs within Road to Fame. Now with Road to Fame, the first thing you have to remember is when you start a new run, your clubs all revert back to level 1, and you can see all of the clubs on this screen here within the game, series clubs, and we're going to look at them very, very briefly, and I'll give you my tips of what you should upgrade in what order when you are playing Road to Fame. It is going to vary depending on the division you're in, but let's have a look anyway. This series driver at level 1 doesn't give you much power at all. You have very little topspin, and okay, we don't really need ball guide on a driver because we're not going to be dropping shots, but we need power and we need topspin. Looking at the rest of the clubs, they all start fairly poorly in terms of the ball guide, and you have limited spin available. There you can see the wood. Let's go to long iron again, a little bit of top spin. You get a bit of backspin with level 2, which is actually a nice upgrade early on, but still only a ball guide of 2, and especially with the short iron, when you open that one up in level 1, you only got 1.8, so that is not going to do you very much use at all when you're trying to drop a shot for an eagle or an albatross. The wedge, again, gives you top spin early on, but without the ball guide, not really much use. And then the rough iron and sand iron, hopefully we're never going to use. But of course, if you do, you've got some power, no accuracy to begin with on the rough iron, and only a little bit of accuracy on the sand wedge. So what are my tips? First of all, first and foremost, with Road to Fame, always concentrate on upgrading the driver. We need that extra power. You can see you get 10 yards from level 1 to 2, but later on as the levels progress, there are some nice power upgrades, and you will get some top spin as well, because we want to get as far down the fairways as possible, especially with these real world courses that you might be playing. You want to get as close to the green as possible. So first and foremost, upgrade the driver. That is priority for me. If you are later on in your run and you need a lot of club credits to upgrade, like 600 or 800, and you've got some left over, then by all means do a couple of upgrades on the wood, get yourself some accuracy and ball guide, and with the long iron I would recommend you upgrade that when you can. Obviously priority is driver, but then after that the long iron, get yourself some backspin early on, because if you are playing some of the hole out challenges, the backspin will help you hold the green into the prize zones with the ball. And also if you're playing one of the par 4s or 5s and you just want to hold the ball on the green and survive that hole rather than a hole that you can drive and get a wedge, then it's very useful to have that as well. I would never bother upgrading the rough iron or the sand wedge, because even if you're going to spend a load of money, credits upgrading that, you're probably not going to drop a shot with it, and they are for rescue purposes only. And if you're playing well enough with your driver and you've upgraded that with some accuracy anyway, chances are you're not going to be in the hazards. So there are my tips really for the road to fame. If, of course, you have a sponsor or you are getting some boosts along the runs that give you plus 10 yards on the driver, that is a very good one, in my opinion. Anything that offers you a bit more accuracy or ball guide. However, any upgrades that you get along the way for the rough iron or the sand wedge, I'd stay clear from. So the clubs are in order of priority. Driver, then I would say followed by wood and long iron. Those are the three that you're going to want to focus on in Road to Fame. Thank you very much for watching this Ultimate Club Guide video here on the BK Golf Clash YouTube channel. I hope you found it enjoyable and useful in terms of narrowing down your decisions on what you need to do with your coins and gems in terms of club cards in the shops, working out where you need to invest these things to get yourself where you want to be in the game. Leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and if you've got any additional tips or pointers to help fellow viewers, then those would be gratefully received. And finally, remember to share this video to your friends within the game if they need some help and guidance. Plenty of other videos on the channel homepage. Thanks once again for watching. See you all soon. Bye for now.